This video is going to cover how to create a change request within Procore. And this demonstration is going to cover how to route that to multiple approvers and Procore via the email functionality of the change order, and then to a final designated reviewer. This is a two-step workflow, so it's a little more or a little less intuitive, I would say, than routing to one approver. We'll go ahead and get started here. We're going to start with creating our change event. And when you know something's a change, this is the first thing you should do. This is like generating an item or a line on your change log. You could link that to an RFI if you had one. In this case, we're not going to do that. And we're going to say increase size of pipe support for future expansion. And this is a request of operations that was not included in the original scope of the project. So we'll call that out of scope, owner change, and scope change. We could go ahead and just copy and paste. You could add some additional information in the description if you want to. You could also attach files. You could use your box integration and pull anything up from box, sketches, etc. That would be linked there. We're going to go ahead and put our cost code in here. I'm going to choose piping. You'd probably choose civil for this case. I don't have that one set up in this project, but for our purposes, this should work. I'll say $6,000 so that it does warrant a change request. Go ahead and create that. So you'll see it's showing up in our rough order of magnitude here at the top, but it's not showing up in any of the other categories or the other columns, which are what's actually reflected in the budget. So our next step is to create our prime potential change order like we always do. It'll pull in the information that we put in earlier. We're going to go ahead and leave this in the pending review status since we're going to be routing a change request to get approval of this. This is where you can input your schedule impact. I'm going to say this is a one-day schedule impact for the project and go ahead and select that information I had input originally. Go ahead and create that potential change order. And here you'll see it'll show up in the pending category on the budget. If we went to the budget tab, it'd also be reflected there. Now we need to route that change request to get approval. So we're going to need to open up the prime potential change order. From here, we can then go ahead and create a prime contract change order. If you had multiple potential change orders, here's where you could also combine those together. We are going to go ahead and use the same title. So since we copied and pasted that, we will keep that. We're going to move this into pending status since we're going to send this off to some approvers. We'll set a due date, let's say a week out. This is the due date for the first round of reviewers. We're going to leave the designated reviewer spot blank for now. If we wanted to route this to all the approvers at once, we could do that and we would input that designated reviewer's response here. But as soon as they would hit approved on that, then it would show as approved within the budget and within the change order. It wouldn't wait on the first level approvers. Description. Here is where you could, copy and paste again, add additional correspondence that might be relevant. Particularly, maybe this is per terminal manager request based on known upcoming project. And you would need to put in your information again, and this is what you want to request from the business partner. So these may change these amounts, but we'll go ahead and pull in that potential change order, make sure that it's covered there. And here's where you would then, to send it off to your first round of reviewers, you need to hit this create and email button at the bottom. This will give you the opportunity to put those folks in here. So you would choose your reviewers. This could be your PCS, this could be your supervisor. For here, I'm going to go ahead and choose myself so I can show you what these emails and correspondence look like. Another opportunity to attach additional information. And here is where you would provide your directions. And it depends how you want to use the tool or the emails. If you want them to be able to reply via email, the cost and schedule information will not show up in the default email that's sent out by Procore. So you would have to type that information here. I think it's best that they open up Procore to see all of the information and they have access to exactly what that information is. So I'm going to go ahead and ask them through a request to please open this change order in Procore and reply to this email with your approval. And then let's go ahead and tell them, open this change order in Procore to review and reply to this email with your approval. And since this is in the title, you probably don't need to copy and paste this information. I'll go ahead and take that out. So we have this, and we included ourselves on the distribution so we can see what emails are going back and forth. We'll hit send to this, and I'll show you what that looks like on the receiver's end. That email showed up in our email. So as the reviewer on the initial round of reviews, this is the email that you would see. And you can see this statement, please open this change order in Procore to review and reply to this email. So we will go ahead and click the link to open that up in Procore, and then they would need to log in to see this. And it would show them all the information, including the amount and the schedule impact here. And the best thing, or probably the easiest thing for them to be, would be to go to the emails, and they would see an email that they could open up and here and post a new reply. And so they could say, I approve this change order. Go ahead and click send reply. Another option that they would have if you chose to copy the information, the cost and the schedule impact into the actual email is they could reply directly from the email, and any email responses to a Procore email like this would show up. So they would hit I approve this change order if they had enough information to do that without opening it up. I think keeping them within Procore and looking at all the information is probably the best practice, but this is another alternative that would also work. And so this email would show up within the email section of that change order. And now, as the project leader or initiator of the change request, I have gotten a reply, the reply that the first level approver sent out via Procore as well to show that I approve this change order. So as long as you included yourself as a project leader on the distribution, you would receive this in your email as well. We'll jump back to Procore, and we'll see that in the emails thread, this emails tab here, on the contract change order, prime contract change order, you'll see the correspondence and the approval. If you had multiple approvers, you would see all of their correspondence and replies here as well. So once you have those first level approvals through this method, then you could go back and choose a designated reviewer as the final reviewer. You do that by going in here, hitting edit, leaving that again in pending status, potentially changing the due date since this is really round 2 of approvals. We'll go ahead and leave that at a week from today. And then choose your designated final approver. Keep that information the same, most likely. And then go ahead and hit that save an email button again. And here we'll do the same thing we did before. We'll go ahead and choose our final approver. And unless you send this email, it won't necessarily go out. So if by chance you have someone who's not the designated reviewer, maybe not the final reviewing authority, potentially per the FAA, but someone who's going to take this to them and get their response, and they're the one that's going to be inputting the information either via email or via Procore, then you could leave the final approver as the designated reviewer here on Procore and route this then to the person that would be taking the request to them. And so you'd see that here. And then you could include all of that direction and here, but you might just say, please open the same line really you had that before. Please open this change order in Procore to review and approve. And we'll go ahead and send that off. So this is going to our designated reviewer. As that designated reviewer, this is the email that I would see that went out. Please open this change order in Procore to review and approve. Just want to show really that whole email there. You'll see there's more details, view online, view PDF. If this happened to go to someone who's going to take it to someone else, they could open this up as a PDF and either print it or send the PDF version to someone. And this really is showing a lot of the details here surrounding the project and what has gone on potentially even before this project change order. So, and what I'm mentioning here is that we're showing our original contract, which would be the latest AFE amount, and whatever's previously been authorized. A lot of good information showing up here on the PDF version. And then there are places for signatures there at the bottom. Go ahead and close that up. Jump back to our email. And follow the link in our email that the designated reviewer received to open up what they would see after they log in. So you see this is all the information for the change order and then an area for them to put their response and say, I approve this. And then there's buttons here at the bottom to reject or approve. We're going to go ahead and approve that. And you'll see here that the potential change order has also been approved, the change order here showing approved. And if we go back into our budget, you would see that the change order here being reflected in the budget as well. So this video walked through how to create a change request and route it first to multiple reviewers or one initial reviewer, and then a two-step workflow to include the designated reviewer at the end.